again, this seemed to ricochet quite beautifully with a distinction that the artist Marta Rosler had made a while ago, where she characterized a movement that's taken place over the last few decades from a public to an audience. Now, the distinction being that a public is somehow a kind of politically constituted body that has agency, and perhaps even the potentiality or the threat to affect change, to that perhaps that they're witnessing or they're participating in. Rosler then says the thing about audience or audiences is that they are passive consumers of spectacles, right? And I think this is quite an interesting and useful distinction to be made. And this kind of slipperiness, or this fantasy, perhaps, that's part of a certain guilt complex that seems to come up again and again in situations like this. You know, where is the public? Although I guess we've argued that there are publics, and I think in that sense we would probably also defend the right for there to be moments where specialist discourses, which may be, you know, pejoratively described as elitist, are able to exist, thrive, and sort of perpetuate without this anxiety that everything has to be equally disseminated and equally somehow consumed. And, you know, what are we within this matrix? Are we public? Are we audience?
Which brings us also to the idea of the panel. Is that really the kind of most conducive format? Is this really the way that we kind of actively engage with one another in these kind of, you know, extremely large areas? And some people have the microphones, some people, you know, don't, or will get it for a very short moment of time.
And is it enough, as again Anton said, that you keep the door open? That was his response to Nada Shabut's kind of, again, questioning of where were the public, how much outreach is there to be made to bring people, to sort of bring people in.
I guess the distinction as well was that, do you, as an institution or as a cultural practitioner, do you make the effort to step out of the door and pull people in, or do you just leave the door open? Which then brings up the question, is the issue of access, is it simply architectural? Is it that if the door is not locked, people will come in? And if that is the case, then, you know, what happens if the bum walks in? Or what happens if the you know, laborer walks in? Is that an open door policy? What happens to that open door when it's kind of activated or transgressed?
And some of you may recognize this very famous door, which is a favorite of mine, which is Duchamp's door in his Paris flat from 1927 in Rue Larry, where you know, it's a physical, visual manifestation of a Duchampian kind of conundrum, right? Where the truth is also the lie. So that this door is always open and closed at the same time. It's hinged on a corner, pivoted, and sort of swings into two of these openings. I think this for me is a really interesting kind of provocation with respect to this question of supposed access in institutions.